What is going on, you suave Sawsbuck? Today we're playing some games with Koko VMAX. I just managed to take down a tournament the other night with this deck. Actually went undefeated, only losing one game in one of the best of 3 matches. And besides that, not dropping a single game. And the deck was a ton of fun to play. It is a greens deck, so that makes it that much more enjoyable. I love playing greens decks. They're one of my favorite decks to play since the card greens has been released. Now, Koko VMAX, with that max shock, does 180 damage. If we're behind on prize cards, if we have more prize cards left than our opponent's active is paralyzed. So if we fall behind, we have the paralyzation to fall back on, but we don't need that. It doesn't have to be part of our overall game plan. It's fine for us to get ahead on prize cards. The way we set up is we use the Electrify turn 1, very similar to like a Pikarom build kind of deck. Electrify turn 1, and then big attacks from there. So we Electrify, then go into max shock. Usually, sometimes our Boltund doesn't get KO'd, and we can go Electrify and then start using Bolt Storm, and that's when we can kind of get ahead on prize cards. And that's fine. We don't have to rely on paralyzing our opponent's Pokemon to lock them out of the game. It's fine for us to Electrify, use Bolt Storm, get ahead, stay ahead. Like I said, it is a greens deck, but we do play a heavy count of draw supporters as well. 4 Marnie, 2 Research, 1 Caitlin and Cynthia. There's a Surge in here because Surge has just always been very good in greens decks in general. Be able to go like Surge, greens, Surge, greens, boss, a bunch of combinations that can happen. And we have 2 bosses orders in here as well. So that's our full supporter lineup. 4 speed lightning, 8 basic lightning, got an air balloon, a big charm, a bunch of different one-of stuff. Got 1 Pokédoll, 1 Great Catcher, 1 Fan of Waves, a couple Evolution Incense to help us find our Koko VMAXs. 1 escape rope, some energy spinners, and then for the stadium count, we got 1 Chaotic Swell, 1 Power Plant, and 1 Wondrous Labyrinth. Now, Wondrous Labyrinth is really good against those 1 prize decks like Whimsicott or Mad Party, making it a little bit harder for them to attack consistently. Power Plant is good against stuff like Templezard in the late game, or pretty much anything that plays heavy Dedenne. Can be really good against ADP, stuff like that. Chaotic Swell is really good against Hearth decks, Welder decks. We can throw the Chaotic Swell out there aggressively early on. They eventually bump it with a Hearth, and then we can close it out with a Stamp Plant, usually, is the way to go. Sometimes they won't bump our Swell because they're afraid of our Power Plant, but that means they don't get to put Hearth in play, which is also equally as good, to be honest. Then, of course, one of the main reasons to play greens decks is the comeback potential through Reset Stamp, so we play a couple Reset Stamp in here as well, and that is the list. The exact 60 I played at the tournament. The original list comes to us from MellowMagikarp. I'm going to leave his links down in the description. Go check out his Twitch, his Twitter, and his YouTube. Yeah, the original list comes to us from Mellow. I made a couple changes from his list, and this is what I came to and managed to take the tournament down with. The deck is a ton of fun. I don't think it's a new beat AF, but it doesn't have to be to have fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into some games with Koko VMAX. All right, getting into our first game. We did win the coin flip, but we do want to go second because we just want to turn 1, Electrify, and then go from there. Really just go from there, see what else kind of happens in the game. Yeah, won the coin flip, so it's nice because we do like to go second. Opening hand is a mulligan, which we are playing a greens deck, which are not notoriously enough. Well, maybe notoriously enough. They mulligan a little bit more often than most decks because we do play less Pokemon. Generally, we actually played 9 Pokemon in this one, but one we really don't want to start with. We do not want to open up with Koko Prism. In this hand, this hand's pretty rough. We have no draw supporter, no Pokégear, nothing really to work with, no speed lightning either. Even speed lightning would be able to get us something maybe to work with. But yeah, opening Koko Prism is really bad because we can't use greens. Green says we have to have no abilities in play to be able to use greens. So if there's a Tapu Koko Prism in play as an ability, that is no good for us. We're up against Single Strike, which Single Strike is I think is a really bad matchup. I haven't played against Single Strike before. Rapid Strike is beatable, I think, because they can't 1-hit KO a Koko VMAX. They have to 2-hit KO it, and we 2-hit KO them back. So I think Rapid Strike is beatable. Single Strike is pretty rough, though. Definitely winnable. Everything's winnable if we draw well enough, play well enough. Our opponent messes up or just draws really poorly. That's always a possibility. But with the current situation with our current hand, I'm not feeling too optimistic in this one. I'm not going to lie. We'll see, though. We'll see how it ends up fully going. And who knows? Maybe we can make a comeback here. Or, I mean, potentially make a comeback. Because, once again, our opening hand, not great. It looks like we might have to spike draw turn 1 and then hope they just don't get off a turn 2 attack. Comes a quick ball, another Houndour. Are they really gonna go triple Houndour off the rip here? They might. It looks like it. Yeah, 3 Houndours down. Aggressive with the Dowers. Quick ball top deck is good. That's very good. Excuse me. Gonna go ahead and All the way lightning. Oh, I hopefully didn't take too many lightning there. No, I didn't. There's 2 left. I've almost taken too many. Usually it ends up being just correct, just the right amount. But possibly you can take too many. I don't think the Big Charm really matters anywhere, so I'm gonna hold it. We do have an Air Balloon, so the Air Balloon might be better to put in play anyways. And load up our Koko V. Gonna paralyze this on the next turn after it knocks out my Boltund, theoretically. If it doesn't knock out the Boltund, we can get a Bolt Storm off, which wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, it feels like it's gonna be pretty hard to beat Urshifu VMAX, to be honest. It feels like it's gonna be pretty tough. Oh, is our opponent living off that exciting stage, maybe? He used it. There goes the Tower of Darkness for +2. They might have a little bit of a slow start here, actually. Let's see. That's exactly what we would need to beat this matchup, I think. I think this one's pretty tough. I think, like I said, Rapid Strike, I think we can beat a little bit easier, but I think... all right, Single Strike is going to be quite a bit tougher. But they did whiff at turn 1 play. So we can hit them with this Bolt Storm. No reason to evolve to the VMAX yet, I don't think. Yeah, I would just kind of give them an extra prize card to work with. So we're just going to go attach. I might play this to thin out a VMAX out of the deck, but I don't really... I'm not the biggest fan of doing that. I think we're just going to Bolt Storm. Yeah, Bolt Storm. 130. Unfortunately for us, if they do KO active next turn, there's a couple things that could go really bad here. One, they could KO our benched Koko V, which would be really bad. Unless they KO'd it with the V and didn't go to the VMAX, that would be okay, because then Boltund get the KO here. But if they VMAX here and knock out our Boltund, our Koko VMAX actually can't KO the Urshifu V. So that would be really bad. There's quite a few things that could go really bad here. So if they have a boss in hand here, but it is a Marnie, which is great for us because it does free us from this abysmal hand that we had just a second ago. And there we go. There's a greens, there's a surge. All right, now we can really make some plays. Try and get back into this one. I don't even know what I'd want to do here, though. Probably surge, play the greens for... I don't know. We'll see what our top deck is. I guess our top deck could be play quite a big role in this one, to be honest. Discarded a VMAX off the Tower of Darkness. I don't know if that means they don't want a VMAX right now, or if they have another VMAX in hand. If I was them, I would VMAX, though, because this thing cannot be KO'd. If you VMAX this one, I can't KO it with... I guess I could KO it with the Koko V, though. I guess I could just use Thunderous Bolt, right? I don't have to VMAX. So I guess I could KO it, actually, if it did VMAX. So maybe it is correct for my opponent to play it the way they are, then. Because, yeah, actually, I could get the Thunderous Bolt for the knockout. So this actually seems correct. There was a... Was that a... Oh, I thought it was a Rapid Strike Urshifu. I was so confused at first. But yeah, they're going to be able to load this thing up. That's what I mean by about this being kind of tough. Actually, they don't even have to VMAX. And it really doesn't even give me a good target to paralyze then if they don't VMAX. And now it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, I feel like. Yeah, this is why this kind of feels bad. Like, actually, they don't even have to VMAX ever. And then paralyzing a 2-prizer when they're already winning the prize exchange doesn't really do anything. Really easy for them to set up more attackers even once I start throwing reset stamps at them. So yeah, it kind of feels like it is just a tough matchup. We're probably going to lose here in a couple turns. We're going to stick it out. See what we can do. But I don't think it's going to be enough. We'll see, though. We'll see. Set up the Koko V. Turn. It is the V Max. So I'm going to surge greens. Grab myself. I don't even know if I want to V Max. It doesn't really do anything to V Max. I guess then they V Max and KO me with the first attack, which wouldn't be great. I need to go like grab. What do I even want to get here? My goodness. I kind of want to grab the doll, but we need another supporter to work with. So I go like grab doll. I don't really want to research. So get rid of the boss and the stamp, which are both really good cards. But I think I probably should research. Want to just draw into an energy, I guess. All right, sure. But we need to like stall for a turn, basically. That's why I want to get the doll here. So like we're gonna get attached here, and the next turn we need to go like attach Koko Pop, and the next turn attach attack, and hope that's enough to get us out of this situation into a winning situation. Okay, Koko V's good. Got the attach active. We're gonna get our first 2 prize cards here, and then we could go. We'll see what our prize cards are. See what our top deck is. But yeah, then we need to like hide behind the doll for a turn while I set up the next Koko VMAX. And then once again, still gotta hope. We're still in the hoping. And they have the Kricketune V set up as well, which makes it that much harder for our stamps to actually even do anything. So I don't even know if I'll stamp next turn. Maybe I'll stamp the turn after. But yeah, they have the Kricketune V, so stamp is just like not super effective at all against my opponent here because of the Kricketune. Oh, they actually play a Stone Journer. I've not seen this guy yet. In any deck, but I kind of like it. It gives you like a different prize Pokemon to kind of work with. Usually 3 Urshifu V though, if you want to go like Urshifu V VMAX is usually fine, but they play that 1 Stone Journer, which is cute. It's a cute play to have in the deck for sure. I don't like it does a lot of damage though. I don't think we can live through this. Maybe though, maybe. We're gonna try. Impact Blow, sure. They're gonna go down to 1 prize card. I don't think I want to play for a Reset Stamp here. I need to get a Quick Ball, and then maybe an E-Spinner. We'll see what once again, see what the top deck is. Top deck always makes a huge difference with greens decks because that can completely change what you'd get off your greens or something like that. So waiting to see your top deck is always a big deal. And it's a Boltund. That's not gonna do a whole ton. Let's go with the greens. Quick Ball and there's an E-Spinner in here, but do we have any basic lightning left? We do have 1, so I am going to need that next turn. So I guess we go for that. Attach. Quick Ball the Boltund. Grab the Koko. We'll pop the Koko. And once again, I have to kind of hope. There we go. I'll even VMAX right now in case they Marnie us. I could put the Wondrous Labyrinth in play, but that seems incorrect because then if they get stuck actually in play, I can't attack next turn. So pass. Hopefully they don't have Boss here, or Escape Rope would also work, to be honest. So they have a couple different ways that they could, a couple different cards that they could play. They definitely play Boss. I don't know if they would play Escape Rope. They might. Single Strike is usually comfortable with just knocking out whatever the active is, so it doesn't really need to run around what your opponent's got going on very often. Usually just comfortable going after the active. But we'll see. Oh, there's the Boss, and they should, attach to the bench, retreat, knockout. And this is basically what I expected from this matchup. I did not expect to win. I expected us to try and put up the best fight that we could, and I think we did for the most part, but it's a tough one if our opponent doesn't draw very slow early on, and they didn't. So we end up with an L here to the single strike, but it is to be expected. All right, here we go again. Hopefully this time we are not up against a single strike Urshifu. Give me something different for sure. Don't want to be up against a single strike Urshifu. Got a pretty good hand here, though. Of course, we're a little bit reliant on that Pokégear, but that's not that big of a deal. It looks like our opponent is playing Jirachi something, so Tempozard, Centiskorch, Scoop Up Net, Victini VMAX, Scoop Up Net would be my guess. Is some kind of welder deck. No info yet, but yeah, some kind of welder deck. And the comm almost confirms that. That's going to be Centiskorch or Victini VMAX. We'll see here in just a second. There is a Victini, so Victini VMAX looks like the deck we're up against. And it's actually where Big Charm is really good. Victini VMAX hits for 220. Boltund with a Big Charm survives that. Now, they are playing Jirachi, which means they're playing Scoop Up Net, which means they could be playing Zigzagoon. I don't know whether they are or not. I don't know if that's like the norm to play Zigzagoon or not. But so I think I still want to put the Big Charm here if I can find it to protect it from that play. But yeah, once again, I don't know. Is Big Charm or is Zigzagoon the norm? They are playing Scoop Up Nets, which means you'd think they would be playing Zigzagoon, because it kind of just makes sense. You can just get kind of free damage with it wherever you want, whenever you need it, in a ton of different situations. So you'd kind of think that they would be playing the you would think that they would be playing it, but I don't know for sure. So I think I am just gonna go with the Big Charm here. It would force them to have to find it at the very least. So it would at least do that for us. So do this first. Another Pokégear to work with is a little bit comforting, a little bit more comforting than not having an extra one. Got the greens. So now we could go greens for double Quick Ball, get double Koko, pop our Koko Prism right now, which is super nice to get out of the way. But then I don't get the Big Charm, which I do think I want. Talking it up. It is prized. Okay, so we're gonna go with the double Quick Ball play, or we could go with a Swell, but Swell is not quite as good against the Victini VMAX decks. They sometimes don't even play for Welder. So I'm gonna go with the double Quick Ball play here. And then we're reliant on that Surge Pokégear on the following turn, which should be pretty easy to hopefully we need like any supporter, any draw supporter to get things going. So hopefully it goes down well for us. Koko. I wouldn't hate using Great Catcher here if we had a couple more cards, a couple more disposable cards. Don't really have anything disposable in the hand besides the Wondrous Labyrinth. I don't think that's going to be too ridiculously good in this matchup. Although preventing the Victini VMAX, forcing Victini VMAX to have 3 energy might be a difference maker. So who knows? Maybe later in the game this will come up if we get like Surge, Marnie, put these back for now, and then kind of go from there. Yeah, I would have gone for the Big Charm if it was in the deck, but it looks like it was prized. So we're going to have to settle for no Big Charm, but double Koko with the Koko and double energy on each is not bad. It's not bad at all. And the reason we don't want to put 3 on one of them is because our opponent could have a super good Victini VMAX play where they have switch. They could even have an escape rope here, and that would be really bad. There's a bunch of situations where this is just like really bad for us. I'm not gonna lie. There's quite a few plays they could have here that put us in a pretty awkward. There it is. There it is. The escape rope. They get to KO one of my Koko Vs, and we are in trouble. It's also why Lillie's Pokédoll can be really good. That's what I could have searched out instead of the second Koko V, to be honest. We could have gone for, but then if I do that play, if they just have the boss play, then we just have no attacker to work with. Max victory. We're going to be able to paralyze them this turn, though, hopefully. Still need to draw into the Koko VMAX and everything, but hopefully we paralyze them this turn, and then maybe they can't get out of it. All right, play Pokégear first. Got the Marnie. Okay, so now we can go Surge, Marnie. And we're looking for an energy. We're looking for a Koko VMAX, and we have another supporter we can use this turn as well. There's the greens. Evolution Incense. Okay, so it's looking good. Gotta make sure there's a spinner left. Spinner and a basic energy. There should be both those. Yeah. Now we can go. Nope, not Marnie. I almost played the Marnie there. Oh my gosh. All right, spinner and one of the stadiums I think is going to be the most effective thing to play here. Which one is the question? Power Plant stops Dead Change, but Swell stops Hearth completely. I'm not allowing them to find energy. We'll go with the Power Plant though, I think. Maybe save that for the late game. All right, let's go Swell. And for the energy, Swell, stop Hearth, and then we have the option of the what's it called for the later game. And here we go, Max Shock. This is our plan. We'd ideally have liked if our opponent had knocked out our Boltund, not one of our Koko Vs. Or if we'd got the doll in play, we could have protected from the escape rope play. But and if they had the boss play, like I said, it'd be that much worse for us. So this is okay. We're still doing okay here. We haven't lost yet. But this is like the bad situations this deck can definitely get into. Our Koko VMAX deck can get into is these kind of situations right here can get really. This is just really bad, to be honest. This is really bad. When they take out that Koko, we're super fine if they knock out our Boltund. If they knock out our Boltund turn 2, we're like, oh, okay, that's fine. We have 2 Koko VMAXs to work with for the rest of the game. That's all we need to potentially close out a game. That works fine. But then you get against these situations where they're like, focused out one of our Koko Vs before we can attack with it as a VMAX, or even attack with it in general. Sometimes we do use that Thunderous Bolt, and that's fine. Looks like they do have the Dead Change here. So Power Plant looks like it would have been a little bit better overall. Not going to lie. Looks like Power Plant would have been a little bit, just a little bit better. So maybe next time I go for the Power Plant, who knows. But I was like, they have all their hearts left. And I want to keep their hearts out of play to stop energy from getting into play. We saw there they're only able to weld it for 1. But yeah, I maybe could have gone about it a different way for sure. Could have gone with the Power Plant. And maybe I do need to go with the Power Plant there and be like, hope that like completely locks them out of the game potentially. Because we're in such a bad spot, right? We're in such a bad spot here. Locking them out of the game completely might have been the way to go. Or attempting to. There's the Giant Hearth, but kind of after. So the Power Plant would have been really good there. Would have been really good, but you can't predict the future. So now we can try and get Power Plant in play for the late game, and their second to Dene won't be able to do anything, or they won't be able to move energy with Heatran. Stuff like that. But keeping Hearth out of play is always nice, so not overly regretting it. Welder grab off the Stellar Wish. Do they have another switch card is the question. Because they've had this one switch. They do have the Scoop Up Net. They're going to go back into the Victini. They do get to punch my Koko VMAX. And we're going to try and set up another VMAX here. It's not going to be easy, but we are going to attempt to try and do it. And actually, our Koko VMAX does get 1-hit KO'd by the Hot Burn GX from my opponent's Heatran. So we're going to hit up a Marnie next turn. They are bench locked now, which is good for us. Did not put the Jirachi back down. They went with the Victini V instead. Yeah, we're going to try and set up another Koko VMAX. We could even go with Electrify next turn. Try and get to a safe spot to use Electrify. We'll see. There's a Research top deck, but I think we want to go with Marnie knowing they have a Welder in hand, but they might not have any energy in hand, to be honest. Quick ball away a Marnie here for sure. Grab the Koko. We don't know if they have energy in their hand. They have the Welder. They have a Jirachi. We know they have Welder and Jirachi in hand. I don't know what else they have. Bench the Koko. So I could just research. They didn't attach for turn last turn, but because they have the Welder, they maybe don't want to attach for turn because they'd rather Welder the energy. Let's go with Marnie, I guess. Yeah, knowing they have a Welder in hand makes me want a Marnie. I don't know if it's correct. I don't know if it's incorrect. Got the Lillie's Pokédoll, which can buy us a turn sometime in the near future. Draw some cards. And Max Shock for the knockout. Yeah, we could go like Wondrous Labyrinth, plus send up Doll for a turn. Get the other VMAX going. Start to try and make that comeback. There's the Big Charm. Had a couple potential uses for it earlier on here. Stinks to have drawn it now, but we can still get value out of it. We can still get value out of the Big Charm. We could maybe even put it on the Boltund to protect it from another escape rope play later on, or yeah, something like that. The Victini gets sent up here from my opponent, so I assume they have a way to attack with it. Probably the VMAX plus Welder maybe, or maybe they're gonna go with the Spreading Flames. It's also a possibility. Here comes a Quick Ball. So Dedenne number 2 is probably on the way, which is fine. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Once again, it does lock their bench up. They do become bench locked, which is really good for us. It's really good. They don't have space for Eldegoss or Crobats. All those plays are kind of locked out from my opponent. Here comes the Dedenne change. I'm sure they would love to KO my Koko VMAX here, which begs the question, why not just send a Heatran and use Hopper and GX? But maybe they want to save that as an option later on, and they're feeling confident they're going to be able to hit a Welder play here. But if they don't, that is where we can start to make this comeback, actually. Yeah, if they don't, we can start to make this comeback for sure. So they better have it here. They better have it here. If not, we could look for a play where we go like... Well, I'm going to send up the... I feel like I'm never getting baited here, actually, to be honest. But I'm just going to send up the Doll. Yeah, we've got a couple plays we can make now. Heatran to the active. If they want to GX attack that, I'm fine with that. Then we can paralyze it with the Koko VMAX. We're still behind on the prize exchange. Oh, no, we're ahead now. Never mind. We're ahead on the prize exchange. Oh, but they have the boss, so they're bringing it back up. And here comes the GX attack from the Hot Burn. Now we're behind. Now we're losing the game. All right. Exactly where we want to be. Still fine, though. To push the Koko V, it does have that free retreat, so we're going to send that up initially. I'll probably Big Charm the Boltund so the VMAX can't just KO it. What our top deck is, it's an energy. Greens for Stamp would be really nice. So let's use this first. We got the green, so we're going to get the Reset Stamp. We're going to have to find another card to get as well. I don't know what I would want here, but we're going to figure that out. Attach here. Greens. Grab Reset Stamp, and maybe just another greens, to be honest, and maybe just go get another Reset Stamp. The thing here is, though, we don't have another energy to work with, so that's what we need to potentially top deck then, I guess. But Reset Stamp is also so important. Do we have any basic energy left? We do. So I could go with Electrify this turn instead and hope that can stick. Because then we could even get off. Okay, so I kind of like that. I kind of like the Electrify play here. So we're going to go with the Reset Stamp here, I think. Definitely going to go with the Reset Stamp. And I like the idea of the Electrify. Not going to Big Charm it then, though. Retreat. I will evolve. Because I need to Air Balloon this potentially next turn. And I am going to Electrify. Wait, I had the energy in hand. Maybe we didn't need to Electrify here. But now I can Wondrous Labyrinth, actually. So it does give us another play to work with. Okay, Electrify. Yeah, I actually had the energy in hand. I was like talking about, okay, if we greens again, we don't have any way to get the energy. I actually had the energy. So I could have ran to the Doll there, to be honest. I could have probably ran to the Doll there. It might have been a little bit safer. It was going to be a little bit safer. All right, there goes a Hearth. Get rid of 2 energy. Find themselves 2 energy. Gonna start paralyzing this Heatran next turn. So we know their hand is exactly 2 fire energy. Well, it'll be 1 after they attach return. We'll see if they go with the Steam and Stomp, or if they just go to set up the Victini, though. That's the big question I have. That's what I'm curious about. What are they going to go with as far as attachment goes? Going with the Steam and Stomp. All right. Steam and Stomp. But now I can go greens, and we're gonna grab ourselves that Air Balloon, as well as a boss. We can go for the Caitlin and Cynthia to recover the other boss, actually. So I might just go for these two. We do have the Great Catcher left, actually, to close out the game. So I could just go with the Great Catcher. We're gonna grab these two. Seems fine. Attach Air Balloon. I'm gonna go ahead and hearth away the Boltund of mine, because I don't need that anymore. Wondrous Labyrinth into play. Can't use hearth anymore, and we trap them from being able to use fire energy. So they can't win off a top deck here. Even if they top deck boss, they're paralyzed. So they would need to top deck switch boss, which is 3 cards. You only get 1. So they can't top deck to win here. This guy is locked down. We know one of their cards in their hand is a fire energy. We don't know what the other one is. It's a welder. That's not good. That is really not good. Maybe I should grab Reset Stamp off the Caitlin and Cynthia instead of the Caitlin and Cynthia. Okay, well, we're getting Reset Stamp. Maybe we'll get Reset Stamped into Reset Stamp. No such luck. 2-card hand. We don't know what either of the cards is, although it is unlikely my opponent has kind of everything they would need. We would still like to Reset Stamp the hand, though, because it is unknown. Not going to Marnie it, but Reset Stamp would be great. No Reset Stamp. We could still draw it with this Speed Lightning Energy. Go with that. Could have actually played the Pokégear first, thinned out a card, and then use Speed Lightning, which is what I probably should have done, actually, to be honest. All right, Max Shock. So our opponent still can't win this turn, actually, because they actually can't go boss, attach boss, VMAX. So I guess if they have a hearth, they would need hearth, energy, VMAX, boss, which once again is one more card than they could top deck. So they'd have to get a Crobat involved here, I guess. If they can get a Crobat involved here to draw some cards, they do have an out to win this game this turn. If not, I think we've got this one basically locked up. Yeah, I think we got it basically locked up. Wondrous Labyrinth here, pulling its weight here, because yeah, now they can't just like dig through their deck, find boss, Victini VMAX energy. They need an extra energy, which means they have to welder, which means they can't boss. You can't play both in the same turn, unless you're behind on prize cards and playing Surge, but they're not doing that. There's no way, and they're also not behind on prize cards. And there's the pass. So we got it with a boss, and we get it up here in the second game. First game had a tough one against that single strike, but I said it was going to be tough. It was tough. Did the best we could, but get a pretty clean dub here over the Victini VMAX. That's going to do it for these games with the Koko VMAX. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you feel like, see you tomorrow.